In 2024, the Commission on Teacher Credentialing adopted a refresh of the California standards for the teaching profession. This is of no small significance for teacher induction programs statewide because the teacher induction program standards state that they must provide multiple opportunities for candidates to demonstrate growth in the CSTP. So the CSTP and induction programs are really inseparable. Traditionally, many induction programs have relied on the Continuum of Teaching Practice, a tool developed collaboratively by CDE, CTC, and the New Teacher Center. The tool allows teachers to self-assess on CSTP elements along a continuum to track growth on standards over time. And this has served as an invaluable tool for this purpose, but it did have its limitations. While it defined developmental stages from emerging to innovating, at times a teacher might find themselves between stages, and that became difficult to express in this format. Another limitation was that the descriptors, well, they're not standards, but because of the reliance and at times really an over-reliance on this tool, teachers might confuse descriptors, which serve more as example indicators as standards. The clearest limitation now, though, is that as of May 2025, the continuum is not updated to match the 2024 CSTP. So one solution for meeting the induction standard of allowing teachers multiple opportunities to demonstrate growth in the CSTP in lieu of a continuum is employing a criterion-based feedback tool like the single-point rubric. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of a single-point rubric, Jennifer Gonzalez of Cult of Pedagogy has a great podcast episode that discusses the benefits of its use, including the fact that it allows for higher quality individualized feedback as opposed to having to choose from a list of generic descriptions. Here's a sample rubric from Gonzalez for breakfast in bed. As you can see, the center column describes the criteria to meet proficiency. For our purposes, that can be the standards or the elements. On the left, the candidate, in collaboration with the mentor, can list specifically what actionable steps can be taken to get to proficiency. And conversely, on the right, the column has space to explain what has been done to demonstrate exceptionality without limiting the candidate to what has been described for them. A study out of the University of Nebraska points to this strategy as a useful tool for responsible self-assessment, which is what we want teachers to do with the CSTP anyway. According to the author, this format is best suited for helping students assess their own learning in any subject area in which students construct an original response, like a reflection. Here's a sample single-point rubric the author provides for self-assessing on a writing assignment. Now, before pointing out how it can be used as a reflective self-assessment tool on the CSTP, it's worth noting that this format is not without its critics. Notable ones at that. Namely, McTighe, Brookhart, and Gusky co-wrote a piece for ASCD criticizing the single-point rubric for its lack of detailed descriptive language to explain criteria. Rather than referring to it as a true rubric, they'd prefer to describe it as a criterion-based feedback tool, which actually I think aptly describes what we want the induction candidates to do with the standards. So here's one way it can be used with the CSTP. At the top, we have the standard domain and description. Then we have, in the gray boxes, the standard elements listed as the criteria for proficiency. By doing this, we avoid the perception of adding words to the standards with descriptors. Now, on the left, the blank column provides a space for candidates to collaborate with their mentors to list things that they can do to develop into a specific element or grow into that element. The first column on the right of the elements provides a space to document what they've done or what they're doing to progress towards meeting that standard. There's also space in the far right column to document exceptionality, or a way that they have gone beyond what is required or asked of them or described in the standard. Finally, here's a second version in which a 4-point scale is used to describe performance bands next to an area to record feedback and evidence. I hope you find these resources helpful in your induction work. Thanks for watching.